just to give you a quick little idea of how did I get from education into politics, because to be perfectly honest, I didn't start that way. I wanted to be an English teacher. I wanted to be in education in the field. In the 70s, I was teaching English. I was teaching English to non-native speakers of English, kids that did not speak English as a first language. In the 70s, there was this theory called bilingual education. Did you ever hear of that? Well, the basic premise was that you were to teach non-native speakers. They were called English language learners. You were to teach them in their native language. You weren't to teach them English, but you were to teach them in their native language to speak English. Well, to me, that made no sense. The college professors were teaching our teachers that this was the way that you were to teach these non-native speakers. Well, at the time, I was teaching Cambodians, Vietnamese, kids from Mexico, kids from Iran, and at one time I had 16 different languages in my classroom, and I was teaching these kids English, and they were learning English. So I said to myself in my native language, this is completamente loco. This is completely crazy what these college professors are teaching our teachers. So I reflected on my own childhood. As I said, I was raised in Bisbee. I was immersed in English in our schools in the Bisbee Unified School District. I come from a family of 10. My father was adamant, as my mother, that we learn English in our schools. And thank God. The Bisbee Unified School District and our parents, who I come from Hispanic descent, knew that it was important in this country that we learn English if we are to be successful. And all of the families in Bisbee of Hispanic descent also believed if you are to be successful in this country, you are to learn English. And my father, with his work ethic, which I got from my father and mother, and the learning of English and get a good education and fend for yourself and don't expect anybody to take care of you, make it on your own in this country and you will live a good life. I took those same principles into the classroom, and in the year 2000, 4 other people joined me. And in Arizona, if you remember, in 2000, we ran an initiative, 5 of us, in Arizona, a grassroots. That's where I got involved in politics. We got rid of bilingual education with 64% of the electorate, 5 of us. Now, I didn't have a dog in that hunt because I could speak English, my son could speak English, but there were children in our schools that were being taught in Spanish. Now, there weren't other immigrants from Japan or China or other parts of the world. It was only Hispanics. Bilingual education is for Hispanic children. It was to teach these kids in their native language. That is wrong. Kids with Hispanic surname were put in bilingual education programs and kept and taught in their native language. That was the best thing I have done in education, I believe, is to make sure that we make sure in our schools that English is the language of instruction. I just finished reading the book by Mark Levin. There's a chapter on immigration. And he says, the most powerful, if not the most strongest link that unites men is language. And I believe that. If we do not keep English as our national language, it will balkanize this country and we'll lose our freedom.